Good evening guys, welcome back. Today this video is going to be a first impression video. We are flying the Aerosoft A330. Michael and myself picked it up last night and I decided that I'll take it for a spin, see how things were, and decide if it's something that I'll fly on a regular or every now and then. I'm still a bit undecided, but I thought that I use this video as an opportunity to give you guys an idea of what it has to offer. Yes, I'm a little bit late to the party, but that is because when the A330 was about to be released, Mathis had, as always, put up a notice about some of the issues that the plane would have been launched with, and on looking at them I decided that I wouldn't go for the early access. I'll probably not get it or wait a while and see what was going on, considering that I fly only for virtual airlines. I hardly fly outside of that, and no, I was not speaking to my phone, and they don't have the A330 300. I picked it up for 40 euros, sorry 50 euros after the discount, because I had the Airbus Pro pack 318 to 21, and instead of paying the 71 euros I ended up paying 50 euros, which isn't too bad considering. So first of all, PBR is awesome. They have it both on the inside and the outside. It looks great. Now let's look at some things that aren't so great. First thing I'm going to bring your attention to is my PFD right here. Now I've been flying for about 6 hours. Have a look there, 2 seconds there. I've been flying for 7 hours and 27 minutes so far. This white line here, this is my descent arrow. It tells me where my top of descent is. It's supposed to be on the line that I'm tracking, this green line here. I don't have a mouse for you to see, so this green line here with the aircraft is superimposed on. This is supposed to have that white arrow on it to tell me exactly where it is that I will be doing my descent. Now if I take it out to a higher distance, it shows, but then I'm at a loss exactly still as to where my top of descent is. So I'm gonna guesstimate it. You're not quite there yet. We have 180 miles to go, so in another 20 miles or so I'll start the descent. And if I'm too high, what will happen is I have a very steep descent. If I'm not to the point where I should be descending as yet, then it will probably do something like a 1,000 foot descent until it catches up with the actual VNAV, where it is. It should be where it's doing like maybe a 1,500 descent foot per minute. Now that's one of the things that is a bug. It's not supposed to be like that. The other thing, I can't show it here now because it actually happened on the ground when I left Amsterdam this morning. The GSS is integrated into this aircraft similarly to how FsLabs is, and I believe Mad Dog. So once you have your load sheet in, you've initialized the flight and stuff like that, it would read your fuel, it will read your passengers, and GSS will automatically open the doors when they need to, for catering, for boarding, for loading the aircraft, and then when they're finished they will also close it back. That went smoothly, except that the not the fire truck, the fuel truck left slightly earlier than it should. The plane was not finished fueled. However, the plane continued to be fueled after that point. I'm going to start my descent here now, so let's see how that works out for us. This is an offline flight because this is actually my very first flight with the aircraft. I'm not comfortable enough to fly it on advancing. So like I said just now, we haven't come to the top of descent as yet. So as it should, it would hold a 1,000 foot per minute drop until it reaches the correct glide path. So let's see here. There should be an arrow on here as well saying where that point would be, and I'm not seeing that as well. So it's not a deal breaker, but it is some things that you need to be aware of. This is not FsLabs and PMDG standards. Aerosoft has never tried to be at that standard. This is more for the more leisure pilots, so to speak, and you'll find that FsLabs would then be for persons who want a higher immersiveness into their same thing for PMDG. Now, not much have gone on since the flight. I took off, that was fine. Good news, if you had FS2 crew for the Airbus 318, 319, 320 and 321, it also works with the 330, so you don't have to buy that again if it's something that you use. I find so far that the handling of the aircraft is not as jerky, as sudden as the smaller Airbus family that Aerosoft has made. Now, in all fairness, I've only also put back on the A318 and the 319 on my computer this morning, for the main reason that I want to fly out to London City with British Airways, and they use a 318 for that. FsLabs have 319, 320 and 321, so I'll use those for those particular flights, but the 318 I will use for the London City ops, as there's only a couple aircraft that are actually certified to go in there. So looking here, I'm thinking that this green dot, let's see if we can pull it up. I'm thinking this green dot is a superimposed point to tell me when I'm actually going to be back on track with my descent rate, similar to an ILS needle. Whereas normally you would have kind of like a lightning, a blue lightning on the PFD to tell you where that is, but this works as well, so I don't have a quarrel with that. I was told by another person that this actually does a nosedive for the top of descent, but that is not the case, so it could be something on their end. It is behaving as it should. Any other Airbus, once you initiate a descent before your top of descent, you should get 1,000 foot per minute drop until they've gotten back, and then it will then resume a normal descent, which is usually about 1,500 feet or something like that per minute, all depending on weather and stuff like that as well. Which also reminds me, I did not get the wings. Let's see if I can get so I did update. Let's just bring this up here. It would be nice if this would actually, if I can't click window request, it it would be nice if it would actually have like a timestamp to let me know when these winds were actually generated, this wind report. That way I'll know if it was one for when I first took off or if it was one that I just got and I'm okay for the descent. We will see how that works out. So we're landing on runway 23 and we're using the ILS approach. Until then, it's just pretty much just enjoying the view until, well, what you can outside of the clouds, until we actually get there. Oh, there was something that I want to mention. Usually I have my computer set to unlimited for the frames per second, and everything was fine this morning, but as I progressed into the flight about maybe an hour ago, so on the 6.5 hour mark or just before, just around there, my sim started to flicker quite badly. Now usually you will get this if you don't have VSync and buffer ticked, but I had that tick and I couldn't figure out what it was, so I thought, you know what, I'd just have a look on the forums and see what's going on. And I did see someone had a similar issue in 2012. Obviously this aircraft wasn't outplaying, but it was with the same company, Aerosoft. So I figured I'd try it and see, and I changed my frames from unlimited, and at first I put it down to 40 and it had stopped completely. I put it back up to 60 and it was fine. So it seems like it's only with unlimited that you get flickering at times in the flight. If that happens, then just limit your frames to something that you're happy with. You don't have to take it ridiculously low. It's entirely up to yourself. The fact of the matter is that anything over 40 is pretty much wasted, to be honest. Your eyes can't discern it unless you're very, very unique. There are few people that can discern up to 60 but no higher. So anything above that is just kind of working your hardware harder than it actually has to. But in some cases you'll find that when you limit FPS, that it either meets it or sometimes it will jump about underneath it, and depending on how low you have it, it can result in bad performance for you, depending on the aircraft that you're using, depending on the weather that you have in the sim at the particular moment, how heavy your AI traffic is, all stuff like that. All these come into play when it relates to your performance and how you're actually going around in your sim. So just be mindful of that. Again, if you have this flickering, it might not necessarily be something on your end. If it's the whole computer flickering, you go to the sim and you see your windows flickering, then you have an issue. It could be your drivers, or it could be that your graphics card is going. Hopefully it's just the drivers, because that's a quick and free fix. If it's your graphics card, then may the Lord be with your wallet. So those are the things that I've noticed so far. The cockpit has PBR inside, so you can see certain areas where the light hits the reflections, that already where it hits the surface, and we've got these reflections there. So now we've caught up with our descent rate, and we are now doing 2,500 feet per minute down. I guess it might be down to me updating the winds just now, not 100% sure. But as we progress, this is going to fluctuate. It shouldn't get much higher than that unless we've got a steep step down, which wouldn't really happen on the SID. So descending through 25,000 feet, and we're going down to 3,000. No, I'm not 100% sure why I chose Toronto. Probably because it's with the virtual airline. But Toronto is a bad place to check when you have cloud cover like this. But we hope for the best. It looks like it's struggling a bit to hold the profile for descent. I'm checking the wind there. I have a bit of fluctuation of the wind there. It's more like it's descending. Yeah, it's getting slower. But so there's no fluctuation. And there you go, the plane is actually getting away from the autopilot. It's not too bad as yet, but this shouldn't be this far off. And if you're looking at my ground speed in here, there is no fluctuation, so there's no reason for this to be that far off and fluctuating like that. Now doing 3,000 feet per minute. Back to 22, 21, 1900. So what's happening here is we're too high and we're too fast. Let's see if we can help it a bit. Just a little bit. Listening to the engines though, I am absolutely in love with the sound of the engines. You don't hear it that much in the cockpit. I think I would like to hear it more, because you find that unless you add a lot of power, sometimes it's easy to overspeed. Or not so much overspeed, but to go too fast because you don't realize you've actually applied that much power. .1029 set.
1029 cross-checked, passing 17,000. Now.
Checked. Approach checklist.
Okay, approach checklist. Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Seat belts.
On.
Baro ref.
.808 feet set.
1029 set. MDAGH.
I mixed them up. 808 feet set.
808 feet set. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Alright, approach checklist is complete.
So the next test will be pretty much hand flying on the approach. You've got all this weather showing on the weather radar. It is mostly green in the far left. You've got a little bit of yellow. Not a factor for us, but I like that it's not overwhelming. There's another aircraft that I use, Quality Wings, that the weather depiction could be quite harsh to the eye. So, like everything else, there's the pros and there's the cons. The pros are the PBR. It's the first aircraft to have PBR inside and outside. PBR on the outside looks great. I find that the inside is a little bit dark, but I actually like to see the reflections and stuff like that. It's pretty great arm to have. So now you can see that the arrows here are on the line, which is how it should be.
Flight level 100.
Checked. Got a restriction of 8,000 feet. It looks like the aircraft will adhere to it, which is good. Let's see, we have a speed restriction for it as well, 220. Yeah, we're descending, we're slowing down to 220 knots as well. That's perfect. Listen to those sounds all day. Let's see what gate I will use.
1030, cross-checked, passing 5,000. Flight deck. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Captain, the captain is secure.
Check. Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1. Now.
Checked. Some monkey weather.
1,000 to go.
Checked.
$2,500.
Flaps 2.
Check the speed.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Flaps full.
Speed checked. Flaps full. Cabin crew seats for landing.
Landing checklist, please.
Okay, landing checklist. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Off.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete.
We've got a variable wind, so let's see how this goes.
$1,000.
$1,000.
Continue.
Check.
400. 100 above. 300.
Landing.
Check.
Minimum
Pitch.
200.
And
100.
it's good until the end.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. $70 knots.
After landing checklist. Ooh. Okay, to clean up. Okay, to clean up. After landing checklist.
After landing checklist. Okay, after landing checklist is complete.
classificate via hotel. We're on hotel, and then we're gonna pick up Echo. So Michael did a few flights last night, and his comments were that this was the best aircraft so far that Aerosoft has made, and I have to agree with him. The handling is a lot better than the smaller Airbus family, the A318, 320, 321. But again, this statement is based on when last I flew it, which has not been for a few months, probably maybe even over a year. So like I said, I've got the 318, 319 on my system now. So I'll take up the 318. I won't touch the 319 because I have that with FsLabs, and I'll see how we get on with that. So that's it basically for my first impressions with the A330 Professional. There's only one engine variant, which is the Rolls-Royce one, and I like the sounds when it's pulling. I wish I could hear it more in here without actually having to apply too much power, but someone might do an engine pack for it. I don't know. Look at that PBR. That is awesome. hardest part of the flight, as usual, is parking. So let's see how we do. Done. Carpet to ground. We've got APU, that's fine.
Cabin crew, disarm slides.
Cockpit from ground.
Go ahead.
Checked.
I'm not sure why he's not hearing me. Anyways, guys, we are here. Okay, the boarding request there.
Checked.
And
Check.
if I had to give this aircraft a rating, I would give it a generous 7. It's got the GSS integration, which I guess once GSS gets its act together will show up. It flies well. The handling isn't as sticky and jerky as it used to be. That what I'm accustomed to when I think of Aerosoft. The PBR is brilliant, both on the inside and the outside, in my opinion, and it does everything that it's supposed to, except for a couple bugs here and there, like with the, as you would have seen with the indications for the top of descent, the holding the VNAV speeds for the vertical descent. That's a little bit hit and miss at some points. I've only done one flight on it, so I'll do it some more. I don't think that would change significantly. We didn't have any weather, any adverse weather to cause it to do that, so it shouldn't have been fluctuating like that, and it shouldn't be struggling to stay down. At some points it asked me to use the speed brake, which I did, but at that point I really didn't see the sense of using it because I was literally like 5 knots above. So it was literally just a use and stop use. But all in all, it isn't bad. I can see myself flying it quite a bit depending on the airline that I'm using. So if you guys were on the fence, now you've got a bit more information to help make that decision. Of course, the plane has been out for a bit, and some persons would have already given their review on it. This isn't a full review, it's just my first impressions on it, and I have very little to complain about. It was enjoyable, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy the video as well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care and speak to you soon. See ya.